Welcome back, everyone, to BizTalk. I am your host today, Rachel Weaver, and I have a very special guest with me today. He is the CEO and founder of DigitalXForce and iTrustXForce. Lila, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate your time and look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Rachel. And first of all, to you and all the viewers, Happy New Year. Hope 2024 is, full of success and joy and happiness for everyone. But glad to be here, Rachel, with you.
Thank you. So today I am super excited. It's the new year. We are starting off fresh. I think it's important to bring up some topics that can help us really protect and secure our businesses. So today I would love to talk to you about cloud security. What are the security conclusions when using cloud services for any business?
Absolutely. So, Rachel, you bring up a very good point because given the new digital world that we're living in, especially post-COVID or as the COVID hit, a lot of businesses turn to be very digital savvy businesses because that was the only way to survive. And a lot of that really kind of was enabled through the cloud. Most of the services that you really consume have been moved to the cloud. And for the folks or the viewers, simple examples of cloud, when you're using Gmail, like Google, it's all in the cloud. It's not natively stored in your environment and everything. And the so and so on with the businesses then acquire services from likes of Amazon Web Services, AWS, Google, or the Microsoft Azure. All these are great examples of the cloud service provider. But we also not only use as infrastructure, like where those services are hosted, you're also so used to using the end applications or services. Like Google is one example, Gmail. The email service is hosted somewhere else and provided as a service. The same way, like when you're really using social media and other things, a lot of them are cloud-based services as a service. And a lot of businesses actually use Office 365, where we converse through the emails and everything, just simple example. But they have a lot of finance applications or your HR application and stuff hosted in the cloud. When it really comes to cloud service provider, what is more important to you as a business? Of course, your services, you don't want them to be going down left and right. They need to be up and ready. Like if we are in the show, we don't want the show to abruptly go down or block. The same with the services have to be up and running. So the biggest things really with the cloud is around the data security and data privacy, because it's not in your control. Your data is going up in the cloud. It means somewhere else that need to be protected, and also data needs to be kept private. And then also comes along with that, the service availability. You don't want your businesses to run seamlessly without any breaks and disruption. So making sure those things are really happening, which means you need to make sure the cloud services have proper backups, have proper environment, just in case something goes wrong in one environment, the other one is up and ready. Another important consideration, especially in the geopolitical world we are living in, look at Russia, Ukraine. Now you're talking about the Israel and all this crisis going on. The geopolitical nature of that. Where are those data centers located? Because some of them are because of the cost effectiveness are in parts of the world where you might not allow the business to be run or your data to be sent. So these are some of the considerations that you really have in play when you're looking for the cloud services.
Wow. Very good. And so important, just like you bring up today, the things happening in the world, we really need to take into consideration. And I think a lot of people see what's happening on the news, but they don't think that it can affect them. They're like, well, I'm here in the US. I have nothing to worry about, even though I am a small business owner, that I'm running my business online. But the reality of the situation is the things happening in the world really need to alert us so that we can become more aware. So such great points that you bring up. So how can I choose a secure cloud provider and configure services appropriately to protect myself and my business?
Absolutely. And I will simplify that for the people, just like, how you select as a businesses candidates for your for employment, right? When you're hiring someone, what do you look for? The right qualifications. Do they have certifications in place? Are they like really going to like serve you when you really need them? Like how well they are, right? Those kind of factors. The same thing really apply to the cloud service providers. You are really putting a lot of onus to run your business and like putting like a lot of like dependencies as well in a way on that. So you're looking for environment that are dependable, means they need to be certified. They need to be like technologically like really like handy, in a place. You want to make sure like all the proper contractual and SLAs have also been defined for them, right? The reliability and the performance aspect. I mean, you want to like a cloud service provider like that's really kind of services are like up and down all the time, or like they really don't have a good data security, data governance practices around that. The other thing, like, you also want to like, make sure is because your business is going to accumulate data and services over the period of time. You want to make sure your cloud service provider is also ready to go all the way for your services. What if like, you like use a cloud service provider and then within a year that business goes down? What's the viability of that business? Because you cannot change your business models every year because that's not what you are like signed up to do. So these are like some of the considerations that you really need to have. But first and foremost, the data security and like, data privacy is set of the key concerns, and the service availability, making sure that those things are properly and contractually, defined in the SLAs, as well as they have proper certifications and technology roadmap are the important considerations for you.
Wow. So important. So tell me, what should I know about data privacy in the cloud?
Yeah. So when we talk about the data privacy, Rachel, like, let's say I am the one that is providing services, and in the process I am consuming, and let's say I'm a healthcare organization, right, today, and I'm using a cloud-based health system, which means as a provider of the health services, I'm going to be putting a lot of your health data, PHI, protected health information, in the cloud service provider, which is going outside of my realm, just somewhere out there. So looking at the data privacy and stuff, what I want to make sure, number one, people who should have access to in the cloud environment are the ones that are entitled to and authorized to have access to. And that's very super important. The other one is like really making sure like, the data that is going in is encrypted properly, doing the whole transaction, like moving back and forth over there. Whether or not like, they have really applied all kind of like different security controls against different dimensions. That's very important. Now, what I want about to tell you is a very common misconception when it comes to the cloud service provider. So somebody like thinks as a business, hey, I brought this in a cloud service provider, that means it's their responsibility to secure everything. The answer is no. There's certain things that are responsibility of the cloud service provider, but there are a few things that you also have to take a responsibility on. Let's take an example. I gave you Gmail account. I'm going to protect whenever like, the Gmail is transacting anything. But what if Rachel decide to like share her password with 5 other people? Who can protect you that? You cannot blame Gmail saying, oh, I'm sorry, you were supposed to protect that. No, that's a user error. It means you have a responsibility on your part, right? Whether you enable MFA, multi-factor authentication, to make sure like if your device is stolen or like anything else, like you're protected, or your credential is stolen, you're protected, right? So there are shared services responsibility model that you need to kind of like also employ when you're looking for the cloud services. But all in all, I think we've come a long way in this space, that a lot of the services are matured enough. They have very, established model. The things really gonna become very transparent, like, from the get-go. But I would probably say you also need to do your homework when you're looking for some kind of the services here.
Love that. So important. Such a great reminder for all of us as well, to not only do our homework, but also do our due diligence, take responsibility and accountability for those kinds of things. Protect your passwords. I tell people this all the time. I tell my kids this all the time. I say it's really, really important to protect your passwords. And, a lot of times they're like, oh, you're overreacting. But I've had my passport stolen and I know what that did for me. And so although it wasn't online, it could have very easily
Yeah.
turned to something really scary because
Right.
I was out of the country when my passport was stolen. So
Right.
nonetheless, such great information you bring to us each and every week. I know me personally, I implement. So when you guys have an expert like Lalit here sharing all of this important information with us, please don't hesitate to reach out to him or his company, schedule a meeting or an appointment with him, and implement all of the free advice that he gives us each and every week. So thank you so much for being here with us today. You are getting us off to a great start for the new year. We can set in place all of these great processes to secure our business and our privacy. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Glad to be here, Rachel, and I wish again all the best and happy new year to all the viewers and to you. Take care.
Thank you. And can you quickly just share with us, where can we find you?
Absolutely. Rachel, so we have published websites, DigitalXForce.com and iTrustXForce.com. Viewers can always come and really reach out to us there. We're also very active on the social media, so you'll find our contact information through LinkedIn and other professional channels. But yes, if we can give you the direct answer, we'll help you find where you can get the answers from. That's our commitment to the community.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Such a great commitment to have. So we appreciate you so much, and we look forward to having you back with us very, very soon. And with that, thank you for joining us today on Now Media. We will see you all next week.
Thank you.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.